Hello, hello. I have not been on a YouTube live that's vertical, so this is new to me. But we're gonna go with it. How are you? How is everything? How's it going today? I feel like it's Thursday, but it's Tuesday, and I'm a little off balance, if that makes sense. We're gonna make a quick lunch. I have no idea what I'm gonna make yet. I'm just gonna look in the fridge and see what we have. And then I'm going to prepare dinner with you guys all while we're catching up because it's been a while since I've posted, since I've hung out with you, since we've caught up. And I wanna be able to catch up with you guys today. So for dinner, I know what I'm gonna make. We're gonna have sliders, and I'm also making kofta for my husband. And then for lunch, it's probably gonna be like eggs and cheese or something, but we'll look at it together and see what we have. Actually, I do have a good lunch. I have leftovers, and I don't even have to do a leftover makeover because it's already like a full meal. So I'm just gonna heat that up instead of trying to make something else, and this is gonna go to waste. Let's use it. So talking about leftovers, are you guys a leftover person or not a leftover person? Hey Daisy, how are you? I know a lot of people who are not leftover people. Sorry, it's really bright outside. I don't know why. I know a lot of people who are not leftover people. I have one person in my family who's not a leftover person. And, oh, hey, Carla. Hi, Sophia. And then I'm a very big leftover person because I actually feel like things have better flavor the next day. Now, mind you, I don't think pasta works really well with leftovers unless it's like a creamy pasta or like you can like heat it up in a way that makes it taste like it's freshly made. I don't know. But I mean, if it's a restaurant pasta, I'll totally eat it. But generally speaking, I feel like whatever the leftover is actually has better flavor the next day. So for me, I grew up on leftovers. My mom was a full-time working mom, single mom, and I was a latchkey kid. So came home, I ate what was there. And she would cook for like 2 or 3 days at a time, one meal, one big pot, 2 or 3 days at a time. That's what we would be eating. So I grew up on leftovers. My husband, on the other hand, did not grow up on leftovers. Stay-at-home mom, cooked like a short order cook, right? So she cooked several different smaller meals for everybody, depending on the things that they liked and their preferences. So he had a completely different upbringing, and as such, he's not a big leftover fan. However, he is a big trooper because he will still eat leftovers if I repurpose them, and if they're made in a certain way, he'll still eat them. Because I have a lot going on, and he's very thankful for having dinner on the table. So with that being said, I see a lot of people are saying leftovers. Yes. Ziti, lasagna, yes, those are really good leftovers. Like things like Alfredo are not easily reheated without them kind of like the sauce kind of breaking apart. But do you guys hear the sizzle? Please tell me, do you hear the sizzle? I'll show you what the leftover meal is in just a second, but I want to show it to you when it like looks good, and when it's cold it doesn't look its best. I'm not okay. Just found out this Friday is my last day babysitting with this kid, and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, so Carla, you're a super saver. So go into the group and ask for advice on how you can cut your expenses until you find another babysitting job or another job in general. There's a lot of people in there that will probably be able to give you a lot of help and advice, and I will also go in there and make sure I give you some pointers that you can do right now so that you can find some relief until you get another job, okay? I have to repurpose them for my daughter too. Yeah, there's I think there are some people who don't do well with knowing something has been, I don't know, has been like left out, not left out, but like in the fridge overnight, and it just doesn't look the same, and you look at it, it doesn't look as appetizing as it was the first day, and blah, blah, blah. So I totally get the repurposing, which is why it's one of my favorite things to do, is like the leftover makeovers is one of my favorite things to do. So still not looking its best, but I'm going to show you guys anyway, because we're human and that's what we do, right? I just have to figure out how to do it. Okay. So it's, I don't know if you guys saw that viral dish, the chicken and risotto. I forget what they call it. It's like a citrusy one. So I don't think we're supposed to leave the lime in there for this long, but I don't care. I like it. And I'm just reheating it in the same pot that I cooked it in. And there's some cherry tomatoes. Yeah. So I actually have leftovers for probably the next couple of days for lunch, which is perfect, because now I don't have to worry about making something and then having to make dinner again, or like having to make something else again. I'm always trying to find shortcuts in my day because there aren't any hours that are extra in my day. And this is a really good way of just like using up what I have. I've already cooked it. I've already taken the time to make it. So why not use it? And then that way I save time, I save money, and I save energy. Because more than time and money, my energy is always depleted around this time. So, and it smells really good actually. So I'm really glad that I decided on this. So there's a lot of leftovers of this. Normally there wouldn't be. And the reason is because I think when I was cooking it, and this is a lesson learned, when I was cooking it, I think I put in the limes. It was supposed to be lemons, first of all, but I never have lemons. I can't speak English today. I never have lemons on hand. I always have limes because we cook with limes. So I use limes instead of lemons, and I think it gave it sort of like a little bit less citrusy taste and a little bit more of like a, I don't know how to explain it, but the family didn't like it as much as the first time that I made it. And I think it was just because I left the limes in there too long. I think that's what happened. So I don't mind it, but also the day that I made it, I was in a hurry. I had another meeting to go to, and I really couldn't eat my actual portion. So there's a lot left over, which means I have leftovers for tomorrow too, which is perfect. I don't even know where I'm going. If you don't know, we moved about almost 6 months ago now, and still sometimes I forget where things are in my kitchen. Is that weird? Is that just me? This kitchen is a lot different, and the configuration of it is a lot different. So I feel like sometimes I'm lost. Like, see, I was gonna go over there to go get a cup, and the cups are here. So it's like little things like that where I still feel like I just moved in. It's frustrating, but I'm also not 100% focusing. I have cut down mostly my subscription to Just Yours. I had 5 more to Just Your subscription I have left. Carla, let's look at your budget. Since you're a super saver, I can set up a budget, look at your expenses, look at what you currently are making, and then we'll go from there. I know that you also make another income besides the babysitting one, so we'll look at that. Not going to go into the details right now, just for your privacy, but I can definitely look at that probably tomorrow. So send me an email or put it in the group, in the Super Savers group, and I'll answer your question there, and then I can probably send you a spreadsheet with the information, and you can look it over and tweak it how you want. But I think for you, you're going to have to create a new budget until you get another job that replenishes or replaces the one that you're losing. With the high cost of food, yes, we're eating leftovers. Yeah, exactly. Yes, food is insane right now. So I fully understand. And this is what my lunch looks like. So it kind of looks fancy, right? Hopefully it still tastes like it did the first day. That's always the thing. But again, I'm not a picky leftover person. So, well, the chicken is nice and tender because I can cut it with a butter knife, so that's good. Okay, so while I'm eating, let's chat about budgeting, because that's one thing that we don't talk about enough, and I think it's something that's needed, especially because most of us do a budget once. We think that's it. We think, okay, I'm gonna use this budget for the next 6 months. It's not exactly how it works. So first, I want to know, put a 1 in the comments if you currently have a budget that you're working with. Put a 2 in the comments if you don't have a budget at all. And put a 3 in the comments if you have a budget that you hate. And if it's like a 1 and 3, go with the 3. Because if you have a budget but you hate it, that's probably the thing that we need to look at. Let's see. How's Fred? Fred is good. Fred is good. He's spoiled because our backyard now has like lots of flowers and lots of wildlife. We have like lizards and frogs and birds, and I had a mallard duck swimming in the pool the other day, and I was like, that's so cool. So my husband was like, you need to shoo it away, and I was like, I just want to look at it for a while. Like, I know that you're supposed to shoo them away because, like, obviously they attract things and they attract more animals to come into the pool, and but it's just all new to me because, like, I lived in the city for so long, and then when we moved, we're still in a city, but it feels so much more secluded, and like much more wildlife is around. Like, we have like little baby bunnies that like hop everywhere at night. It's really cute. So he's doing great. I'm always talking to him because, we talk to cats. And I always tell him that like he totally upgraded. Like, more than anyone, he upgraded, because our old house, he could obviously see outside. Like, he's an indoor cat, so he doesn't go outside, but he likes to look like in the windows. He likes to see other animals, and our other house had a lot of stray cats, and they would come and like my husband would feed them outside on the porch, and so he would see them a lot, but he never saw any other animal. So I feel like he's constantly getting like a show here, because like there's a specific bird that comes every day, and they both stare at each other, and it's like they're rendezvousing every day. And it's the cutest thing ever. So Fred is doing great. Okay, I see 2 people who say 2, so we're gonna go with that first. So if you don't have a budget right now, the very first thing you need to do, and Carla, you can do this too, as in the meantime, after you put the post on the group, do this. Take your last 3 months of your bank or credit card statements, wherever you normally spend your money. This is good. It's lemony, but it does have a little bit of that rind flavor. I can see why they're not like huge fans of it, but it's okay. It's gonna be eaten anyway. Get your last 3 months of bank statements or credit card statements. And I want you to take like 3 or 4 highlighters, and I want you to categorize every category of expense. So like, these are food expenses, these are gas expenses, these are shopping expenses, these are whatever they are. minus the bills. So like sometimes we pay our bills on credit cards. Don't put those. Just look at your spending. After you've highlighted them for the 3 months, go back and add each month for every color. I know it's a tedious process, but I'm going somewhere with this. You're gonna do that, and then you're going to add the colors up. Like if you use pink for groceries or for food or whatever, you're gonna add all the pink throughout all 3 statements. Okay, then you're gonna divide by 3 to get the average. Why do we do 3 months? We do 3 months instead of just 1 month because, and I know it's a tedious process, but the reason why we do it is because sometimes there's a month that's a little off. It could be a great month, it could be a not so great month, but those months aren't usually our typical months. And if it happens to be that that's the month that you're adding, you're not gonna get the best snapshot of what the patterns actually are in your spending. But if you do 3 months, not likely that you're going to have atypical months 3 times in a row. So you're gonna have a typical month at least 2 of those months, which means it'll help you balance out the atypical month a little bit. And then that way you can actually get a more accurate reading on how you spend your money and where the patterns are. That's before budgeting. Like you need to be able to assess where you are and how you're spending your money first. Budgeting comes as a result of planning it later. You're gonna plan what you wanna spend your money on later. But for now, you need to know where you stand. Do you guys know how much you spend on groceries a month? Like off the top of your head? That's one thing that like was a big game changer for me when I first started. Understanding how much I actually spent on groceries. I never counted, never paid attention really, until we were living paycheck to paycheck and we couldn't understand why. It was also because I didn't have a budget. But primarily it was because I was spending way too much on groceries. And when we do that, it's usually that we use the excuse of, or we justify it saying, well, you know, we're not eating out, we're eating at home. So it's okay to spend money. It is okay to spend money. As long as you know how much you're spending and you've planned it ahead of time. But what's the point of spending a bunch of money on groceries when you can get the same groceries for less, still feed your family really well, you're not skimping on quality. If you can spend less, why spend more? It sounds like a commercial. It's not. But if you could spend less, imagine what you could use that extra money for. I think sometimes, and I say this speaking of my old self, I think sometimes when we are in a routine of things, it's easy to justify why we do what we do because change sucks, change is hard, change is uncomfortable. But I promise you that if you have ever felt like you were frustrated when you went to the grocery store, or you were frustrated at the end of the month when you felt like you didn't have any more money, you were frustrated because you felt like you couldn't afford the things that you wanted to afford, it's time to start getting a little uncomfortable with change so that you can actually fix the discomfort you feel at the end of the month, the discomfort that you feel when you can't afford something you really want. I would 100% take the discomfort of change over the discomfort of not affording something or the discomfort of stress and worry. That to me is way more uncomfortable than trying to find something that might work better than what my current routine is. Sometimes it's easy to let years go by with the same routines because we've just gotten used to them. They're familiar, they're our comfort zone. But if you're struggling because of your routine, then chances are there's probably a better routine out there for you. And when I talk about routine, I'm talking about the way that you manage your money. It's not just about restricting. Like, it's actually my pet peeve to say restriction. I don't like that word because a budget to me is not a restrictor. The restrictor is the mindset. So if you are budgeting with the mindset of I'm only going to spend on bills and expenses that are necessary, you essentially are the one that is restricting yourself. Your budget isn't restricting you. You have to go into the mindset that this budget revolves around your life. It revolves around your priorities. It actually revolves around you more than anything else. It's the plan for how you want to spend your money so that you're living the quality life that you want. And it's going to be the indicator of whether you need to make more money, whether you need to pay off your debt faster, whether you need to cut some stuff out that's not serving you right now, whether that is, whether you're having a problem with impulse spending. Like, it's going to be such a big magnifying glass to where things are going wrong. So it's going to help you a lot. And I know at first you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, what? Because I will tell you, I even wrote this in the book. And some of you guys already know. I just finished the audiobook for Simple Secrets to Becoming a Saving Wiz. The actual physical book is already out, but the audiobook it takes months later for it to actually come out. So I just finished recording it last week, ahead of schedule, which is amazing. And I spoke about this like hatred for budgeting and the mindset of, no, I work really hard for my money. I deserve to spend it. I deserve to keep it. I deserve to spend it. I don't want to keep it. I want to get all the things I want, right? I want to get the things, the material things, the status things, the beautiful purses, the shoes, I'm a big shoe person. I'm not a big purse or clothing person, but I'm a big shoe person. I like going on vacations. We have a lot of events. So we spend a lot of money on gifts. Those are kind of like the priorities right now. And for me, back then, it was just like, no, I want to spend all my money on the things that I want because I'm an adult and I can. Nobody's going to tell me that I can't spend money on something. So when my husband was talking about a budget, I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want a budget. But the problem with that was we spent the first several years living paycheck to paycheck because without a budget, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't even know how much I was actually spending on things. My husband did like a mental budget for himself, but if one partner isn't on board, it's really, really hard to reel things in. So it's a big deal when you can change that mindset from a budget takes away the ability for me to spend my money, and you're changing it to a budget now enables me to spend my money how I want. And I know at the end of the month, I'm going to have enough for everything else. Only a budget can do that. It lays it out on the table. Numbers don't lie. So it will also kind of expose you a little and tell you, hey, you're impulse spending. So when we bought this house, there were a lot of things we had to do to the other house because we were renting it out. And There were a lot of expenses, unexpected expenses that came up. There's still unexpected expenses that are coming up in this house. I'm going to be super honest about that. And it kind of stresses me out because I don't have a plan. I can't put them in my budget because they just kind of come out of the blue because we're still new to this neighborhood. We're still new to this area. We're still new to the way they charge us for things here. It's different. It's not the same. And it's way more expensive actually. So for the last few months, we've been struggling with our budget, and I'm a firm believer that it will come together. Just have to keep on adjusting and tweaking and figuring out what works and figuring out what doesn't, and cutting a little here and, putting more in our buffer. I always tell you guys, if you have your budget set without a buffer, it's a recipe for failure. Because if something unexpected comes out, then what ends up happening is you have to scramble to figure out where you're going to get that money to cover it. So instead of doing that, always have a buffer. We generally have a buffer. The issue is my anxiety kind of takes over when I don't feel like I'm in control, especially lately. So even though we have a budget set in place, even though we have a plan for how we're going to be spending our money, even though we are very disciplined in how, like, I'm eating leftovers, right? And how we do things, there are still unknowns that are being covered. It's not that we can't cover them, but there are unknowns that I'm like, I don't know if another thing is going to come at me next month. And so I feel like in this season of life, I am finding that every time an unexpected thing comes in, an unexpected bill comes in, I'm like literally putting a mental note of like, okay, on this month, we got this. So that I know for next year's budget at this time, these are the things I can expect. And I can add that into my annual budget too. So I don't talk about this often enough because it's more of like in intermediate or advanced level budgeting. I always talk to you guys about either monthly budgets or per paycheck budget. But what's really helpful too is doing annual budgets, because then you can kind of capture everything in there. Your 6-month premiums, if you have insurance that hit every 6 months, which we do, things like that. Me too, shoes and vacations. Yes, those are my favorite things to spend money on. Shoes mostly because I really like that my shoe size doesn't change. Like my body size changes a lot, but my shoe size does not. That's number one. Number two, I feel like if I spend on good quality shoes, they last a long time. My feet don't hurt. My back doesn't hurt. I feel comfortable all day, even if they're pumps. And then vacations, like I love traveling. I love being out and about, and I don't know, seeing new things, hanging out with friends and family, unwinding, disconnecting, all of those things. So with all that being said, find a budget template or spreadsheet that you can use to organize your plan for how you're going to spend your money for the next 2 weeks. Do a small thing, like make that a small step. But the very, very first step that you want to do is take time to look at your bank or credit card statements first and figure out what it is you're spending money on and how much you're actually spending. It might shock you, and that's okay. It shocked me, but that's the start. I always say, like, if you're shocked, it's not an attack on what you did in the past. It's a starting point to get you out of that, right? So if you're shocked, it's fine. Let it shock you, and then you'll move on to better things. Okay, sounds good, Carla. I'm so glad you're on this live. So what are you guys making for dinner tonight? I'm wondering. I'll tell you what I'm making for dinner in just a minute. Actually, you're gonna watch me make it, but I'm always looking for easy recipes. This recipe was 20 minutes, you guys. This one that I'm eating. 25 at the most. So, so good. Same, and I don't know yet about dinner. The chicken is really good. I feel like there is a little tinge of kind of bitterness a little bit, but I'm dealing with it because I don't want to throw away the chicken. It's delicious otherwise, and I can deal with it. I can deal with the little sting at the end. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. How often do you get takeout? Comment below, tell me how many times per week do you usually have takeout? I think I will make air fryer chicken wings. Ooh, that sounds so good. And whatever veggies I have on hand. I have rice noodles too. That sounds really good. So what do you put on your rice noodles? I'm curious. Do you make it like Asian style, or do you make it into like different things? Hey Jason. Or seems like afternoon still for, yeah, it is. It's 3:49 here. I love lentil soup. Which lentils? Is it the red lentils? Orange lentils? I don't know. Some people say red. To me, it's orange. But they turn yellow when you cook them. Anyway, I always digress. Which type of lentil? 4 time. Genuinely never. I don't even have accounts on any of those things and never have. Can't afford it. Okay, so if Jason, if you could afford it, would you want to eat out, or you're just not a big like takeout food person? 3 times a week minimum. Okay. Rice noodles, I usually make them in a soup. Oh, that sounds good, but my daughter also likes them with hoisin spice. That's awesome. I have a friend who loves to make like Asian dishes at home. We're Egyptian, if you guys don't know. Sophia does. Some of you guys know. But she loves making Asian dishes, and I'm like, she has like all of the different sauces and all of the different like chili pastes. And I'm like, that's so cool. I think that if I were to make one dish, most of those ingredients would sit in my pantry for a really long time, because my mind, when I think about easy dishes, those aren't easy dishes for me, because I feel like, I don't know, the flavor palette for me is, it's a challenge for me to get it just right, so it never comes out right. I mean, I think there's a couple of them I can make, but I make more Middle Eastern dishes, some Italian dishes, American dishes, that kind of stuff. But that's awesome that she likes hoisin. I do too, actually. Okay, so 3 times a week minimum. So we're going from anywhere between 4 times, 3 times, never. There's a whole array of you guys here from like all different spectrums, right? Or a spectrum. Is it something, for the people that do eat out, is it something that you're trying to lessen, or are you happy with where you are? Green or brown? Okay, I get you. I call those brown lentils, but yes, they're greenish brown. I know, it's a weird thing, right? Like the red onion is really purple. The yellow onion's really brown. From the outside anyway, you know? It's weird. Probably wouldn't change my mind about takeout, to be honest. Oh, I see, okay. So you're thinking like takeout delivery. How about takeout pickup? Because I understand the whole like not wanting to give your address. Totally get it. Actually, one of the reasons why you'll never see it on this page. I will never do like a house tour. Because even the inside of houses, you can kind of like, in the wrong hands, it could be dangerous. Trying to know to do it all. Trying not to do it at all. Okay, got it. I say that all the time about purple onions. Yes. It's a weird thing. I don't know why they call them red. I did assume delivery. Oh yeah, pickup just wouldn't be an option because, oh, I see. Okay. That makes total sense then. I will tell you, like for me, and you guys, the ones that have been here for a while and know me, know this about me. I cook because it's a necessity. I don't generally cook because it's something I fully enjoy doing. Of course, there are times where, yeah, I'm in the mood and I want to cook and stuff. But a lot of times I just want to get food on the table for my family without having to spend extra money or waste the resources I already purchased. So a lot of times I'm cooking at home, but I love eating out. And not necessarily fast food. Like I used to be really into fast food at one point. I'm not a big fast food person anymore. Not like I used to. Maybe we eat fast food once every couple of weeks, maybe. But I love restaurants. That hasn't changed. So I love being able to eat out. I love like going to a restaurant and having the experience of sitting with your family and like the hustle and bustle of it all. Like you're hearing people, like the chatter, and it just feels like an event. I don't know. And I could be, like super unrelatable right now. Maybe you're like, what? I don't like that at all. I love it. I love getting dressed and like dressed up a little bit and going somewhere and having a really nice meal and coming home and not having to worry about dishes, bringing leftovers home and eating them the next day. The appetizers, the bread, if we go to like an Italian restaurant or like a steakhouse, I just love that. That's my favorite. I would like less takeout, but my husband loves it on weekends. Got it. Totally understand. Sorry, off topic, but you won't show a house tour for privacy, but I've noticed also that you always say, but never from where actually. No, I've said it before. I'm Egyptian. I say Middle Eastern dishes, and I do say that I'm Middle Eastern, but no, I'm Egyptian. My parents are both Egyptian, born in Egypt. I'm the only one in my family who was actually born here in America. But yeah, I'm Egyptian. I'm a pretty private person, but there's a lot of things I'm open about too. As long as it is not a danger to me or my family, I'm okay with being open about it. So yeah, I hope that helps, Hella. And if you want to know where in Egypt, I can tell you that too. But no, I'm Egyptian. You know what's funny is like, and this is completely off topic too, but you guys get to know me a little bit with these lives. And I don't know if it was just me, but when I was a kid, as far back as I can remember, if someone asked me where I was from or what ethnicity I was, I said Egyptian. I didn't say Egyptian American. I never said American. I always said Egyptian, even though I was born and raised here. But my family, my entire family was here. Like my parents' siblings were here, my grandparents were here, everybody immigrated. So we had like a little Egypt thing going. Like it felt like we were still kind of in a bubble within the country, if that makes sense. So I've always felt and related to that part of my life. Like I speak Arabic fluently. I don't know read or write. Not that I don't. It looks like beautiful pictures to me, but or beautiful doodles. I can't read or write, but I can dance. I can cook. I can speak. I can understand jokes. I can make jokes. I can watch movies and shows and all of the things. I love all of it. And so when I was a kid and someone would ask where I was from or my ethnicity, I'd always say Egyptian. Then fast forward, I get married to my husband who is born and raised in Egypt and immigrated. He always says that I'm a foreigner. And I'm like, don't say that. It's such an insult. Like, I'm not a foreigner. I am Egyptian. And he's like, no, you were born and raised in America. You are an American. Yes, you have like roots, Egyptian roots. But to me, I'm like, no. Like I'm Egyptian. Because I mean, if you were to look around my house, like there's this running joke that you'll see sometimes. I don't know if you guys see it, but like there's a running joke in videos will show up sometimes. I will say like, you're Middle Eastern if you have half a lime or whatever in your fridge, and open any Middle Eastern's fridge and you'll find half a lime in there. I don't know why, but I have one. There's always half a lime. There's always like little things here and there that kind of give away my Egyptianness, if that makes sense. So that's a little tidbit about me that you get to know on these lives. Okay, I've watched several videos but never seen a video saying so. Nice to know. Yeah, so I don't hide the fact that I'm Egyptian, but I think most of my videos are really just talking about personal finance and finding ways to have more hope with your money. Because I know a lot of what's happening right now with the job market and the housing market is insane, and everything just feels like things are getting more expensive and there's not enough money circling around. So it can kind of feel stressful. So my videos are really more about like giving hope and showing you that there is still a way, that I don't want you to give up on your dream of being financially independent. Yes, that's so true. That's so true. It is a state of emergency when you run low on lives. If I have 2 left, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go get more. Because like my husband eats a lot of beans, lots and lots of beans. So we use a lot of limes. I also use a lot of limes in my cooking. And lately, one of my kids is a big like limeade fan. So she's been making limeade for the last few days. So we use it all the time. And I usually buy, like, people probably think I'm crazy, but I usually buy a lot of limes at a time because they can last in the fridge for a couple of weeks. Nothing happens to them. So I'm interested to know. I just told you guys a little bit about my background. I'd love to know your ethnicity if you want to share, and what state or country you're tuning in from today. Let's get to know each other a little bit. Have I really been eating almost 40 minutes? 45 minutes? That's a long time. Jason, you're not eating every day? Okay. for anyone who's on this live who has food insecurity, you're not eating every day, you can't afford to eat every day, there are food pantries and there are supplemental programs in every state that can help you. So I would go online and look for the nearest food pantry. A lot of times, if you can't pick something up, I'm sure they can find a way to coordinate with you so that maybe there is a way they can still kind of deliver it without invading your privacy, if that makes sense. Washington. How's the weather over there, Carla? I'm actually Lebanese. I thought you might be. That's why I asked. Fun fact, one of my brothers was born in Lebanon. My parents lived in Lebanon for almost 5 years, 4 years, before they came to the States. So I really have, my mom was a beautiful storyteller. Like, she would just make you fall in love with whatever she was talking about. And she had a really big love for Egypt, of course, but also Lebanon. And so she told me story after story after story. And I fell in love with it too. One of my dreams is to actually go travel and visit there. I know that right now I've heard it's not ideal to visit right now, but I hope one day I'll be able to visit. And I want to take my kids too. I think it would be really cool. It's such a beautiful country. Such a beautiful country. The things that my mom would tell me about Lebanon was like fairy tale stuff. And my dad was a writer, and a lot of his plots or his stories were based in Lebanon. So he would also descriptively write about its mountainsides and the beauty that is the land. So I've always wanted to visit. Have you visited lately, or when was the last time you visited? Hot, where did the spring go? It just started getting hot here. So I'm glad that you're getting a little bit more heat. I feel I'm still freaking wearing a sweater. It's nice outside. It's beautifully sunny, but it's not warm enough for me yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know. I feel like it's still kind of cold. Okay, I'm so glad that you know about them, Jason. I hope that you are able to make it work. And I think if you talk to someone, they might be able to help as well. You like the cold weather then, okay. And Jason has cold weather. My favorite weather is the spring, but not rainy spring, if that makes sense. I like it to be 75 with a cool breeze. High today here was 53. Oh wow. I think here today it's 70 something, which is beautiful. But in the house it's cold still. 90. But Carla, you have dry heat, right? I haven't been to Washington before, so I'm not sure, but is it dry heat or is it humid? Because like California, we have dry heat. Both. Okay. Okay. I'm almost done. And then we're going to start on dinner. I'm still like, there was a lot of chicken here. I still have a whole big piece. It looks small on camera, but it's actually pretty big. I didn't eat any of the tomatoes. I don't know. There's some things that I feel like I'm picky with, and then other things that I'm not so picky with. I don't know. Sometimes I like the cherry tomatoes cooked. Sometimes I don't. I feel like they didn't have time to like stew, so they're not very soft. They're still like, they kind of look like they're still intact. I like when they kind of like burst open, because then the juices like gets to be part of the sauce. It didn't do that this time. It might have been because I was in a hurry, as usual. I'm always in a hurry. But they make the dish look pretty. I lost you guys for a second, sorry. I was trying to cancel the thing and it took me to the screen. So do you guys have any questions for me? Are there things that you've wondered either about me or about money, or is there a goal you have in mind that you want to hit this year and you're not sure how to get started? Oh, she's good. She's good. She's always busy. Hi. I feel like it's so quiet here. So quiet. So I never told you guys. Let's talk about the audiobook for a second. Initially, they wanted someone else to narrate the book. And I was like, no. No one is narrating this book except me. I'm a very cooperative person when it comes to collaborating. But there are some things, sorry, it clicked really loud. There are some things that I just was like, no. One of the biggest things is because I'm on social media, you guys know my voice. And it's my story, right? So it only makes sense that I narrate it. Also, I know what I was trying to say in the moment. And so when I'm reading the book, I'm having a conversation with you, right? I was like, no one else can narrate this except me. So I had to audition to narrate my own book. But they accepted it. And I did the audiobook last week. And I have to tell you guys, it was so much fun. I could totally see myself like doing like a stint with Calm, or like one of those sleepy time apps. I could totally see it. It would be so much fun to do that. Sometimes you don't know the things you like until you try different things. This was something I never did before. I have a podcast, which we haven't really done anything with for the last 2 years. I think the last episode came out 4 days before my mom passed away. And then it just kind of took a hiatus because there were so many things going on. So I've had a podcast, but narrating a book is so different than a podcast. I feel like someone else narrating it would sound so, yeah, right? I think the same thing. So I feel like the way they have things set up, they already have a company who comes in and narrates for them. So it's not, to them, it's standard. Most writers, I guess, don't like to narrate. They just want to write the book because they're just like authors. And I'm like, I guess I could be called an author now, but that's not my, authoring is not my identity. I'm not authoring a book so that I could be called an author. Does that make sense? I'm authoring the book so that I can give you guys something that can impact your finances, that can help you move forward, right? So the whole mission of this book is to impact my audience, to help my audience, to help you. So if that's the mission, serving the mission would be me narrating the book, no one else. So I think they were pretty shocked that I like pushed so hard, but sometimes you have to do that. I'm not a very pushy person, actually. Actually, I'm one of those people that I seldom push back. But this was one thing that I said, no, my audience needs to hear me, my voice in that book. Because it's not just the words on the page. It's the story behind it. It's the love behind the words. The reason why I wrote the book, you know? Is there any new? No, not yet. But get ready, because I'm going to revamp the podcast probably by the end of summer. I had some guests last time and it was a lot of fun. But I think for the first maybe few months, I'm going to go back to just catching up with you guys, talking about things before I go back into bringing guests on, because it's been a while and I think we just need to reacquaint ourselves, because a lot of things kind of took a unexpected turn when my mom passed away. If you guys don't know, or if this is the first time you're tuning in, my mom passed away almost 2 years ago. May 27th is her memorial, and which happens to be Memorial Day this year, I mean. It is actually Memorial Day, so I think that's really cool. And my mom was my best friend. She was my everything. So it was very, very difficult for me. So when she passed away, a lot of things kind of fell out of my hands. And I've talked about this before, but like, I wasn't posting on social media quite as often. I stopped posting completely on the podcast. I have suffered through insomnia for the last 2 years. Like, some days I'm great and other days I'm up until 3. Can't go to sleep. And I've never been that way. I've always been kind of an early sleeper. Like, so many parts of my life have been altered because of this. And I even talked about how it altered my money too. And it altered the way I plan to use my money. It touches every part of your life. And it's been a long time coming that I've wanted to like revamp this podcast, because I love just sitting and chatting with you, talking to you about money. And I think 30, 60-second videos, a minute, 2-minute videos, whatever, is not enough time for us to really get into the nitty-gritty of things. I mean, we do a lot more in Super Savers. So we do like a full hour live every single month where we talk about, it's like office hours. So they bring their questions. Carla knows this because she comes in. But like, you bring your questions and it's kind of almost like a informal info session, if that makes sense. I didn't know what to call it, but it's a Q&A office hours. So it's open to questions. I usually teach a concept or two. We talk about wins, we talk about challenges, we talk about all those things. We give feedback for things. I will like go down into the details of things. And I'm doing it, I do it obviously there because it's my coaching group, but I also want some outlet where I can like sit and chat with you guys without having to put makeup on or do my hair. I can just sit in my PJs and chat. Because then it really feels like, just two friends hanging out, talking on the phone. That's what it feels like to me. And that's what I try to make my podcast about. I try to keep things as informal as possible. Even if you check out like my videos are very unpolished. They are not your typical videos. And I like it that way because I feel like it really just shows the genuine me, because I'm not polished by any means. I work really, really hard on not adding filters to my lives. I don't add filters to my videos. I try to be as raw and genuine as I can be, because I just want to know you and help you and hang out in my community, I think we've built something really cool here. And I know that with the podcast, I've gotten so many messages about the podcast. When is it coming back? Am I going to have new episodes coming up? If you're on my email list, you know that I send out a newsletter every single Wednesday with a what you missed. So you get, because I started as a blogger, you guys. I've been around for a long time. And I share blog posts with you guys. I share podcast episodes with you guys. I share social media. So every single week you get to taste a little bit of all of the things that I've done to help support you, motivate you, inspire you, empower you to get up and level up. And I want to get back to all those things. It's very weird. I don't know what's happening. Hopefully it stays connected now. But long story short, I want to get back to podcasting. I want to get back to all the things that helped support you, because it fills my cup to fill your cup, if that makes sense. It fills my cup to serve you in a way that is what you need for where you are right now in your life. There are a lot of financial experts out there, and there's many of them that are wonderful. I have a lot of really great friends in this space. I think I needed someone like me when I first started, and there wasn't at that point. I feel like most people go and start teaching at level 2 and level 3, and there wasn't anybody to teach from ground zero. Teach the very, very basics, the things that you think are stupidly obvious. Those things were not stupidly obvious to me when I started. When I started, I felt so overwhelmed. I felt so defeated. And I felt stupid, actually, because when you read the books and you listen to the podcasts and you watch the videos and you read the blogs, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, they're talking about index funds, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. So, okay, where do I start now? Right? And that's why I always start at groceries, because everybody touches groceries. And if you can feel confident about fixing your grocery budget, then guess what? You feel confident enough to take one step forward in a new endeavor, maybe budgeting. And then when you master that one, guess what? Then you move on to a high yield savings account, or sinking funds is what most people call it. I call them set and get funds, because sinking funds just don't even sound good. It sounds like you're just sinking your money. I call them set and get. You set a goal and you get the thing you want by saving the money in a very planned fashion. But you take it step by step by step, and before you know it, you are debt free. You're financially independent. You are an investor. You are a financially savvy person. You are a super saver. And you're living the life that you've always wanted to live without feeling stressed out about where the money's what it's gonna cover this month. And it just starts with one small thing. So it'll happen soon. I'm thinking probably by the end of summer I'll have at least my first batch of episodes. So that like end of summer, early fall, we're gonna have a podcast every week, one episode once a week. We'll have new blog posts once a week. I'm in the process of hiring a team, so we will have more people working on things, so it'll help me kind of bring things out to you guys in a more consistent way. And I'm so excited for what's to come. I'm really excited. And I've missed you guys so much because I know we used to do these lives all the time. Not on YouTube, but we used to do TikTok lives once a day, every day. And now we barely do them. So I'm going to try to come back and do more lives with you guys. I want to be able to do more lives in general, but I also want to be able to just be present with you, get to know you. I want you to get to know me and see that, a real person, real schmegular, regular mom figured it out and is here to help you so you don't have to try to figure it out on your own. Because I did it already. Yeah, if it was any writer without another platform, I don't think it would be as weird. But you already share your message with your voice. Exactly. It's a real part of your work. I'm glad you fought back. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Yeah, that was very important to me. And I'm glad that you guys appreciate that because it's why I did it. It's why I even wanted to write a book in the first place. For you, Yep, and I miss those lives. I do too. I really do. Carla, we're actually having our live this Thursday. Make sure you're there, 5:00. So I haven't posted it in the group yet. I just realized that. And that's probably why you don't know. Did I post it in the group? I can't even remember if I posted in the group. But I'll post it tonight so you guys know because it's in 2 days. So I hope I see you there. But let's go ahead and start cooking because we've spent 67 minutes chatting and me stuffing my face. And I think it's time that we cook. Oh, I did create the event. Okay, good. Because I was like, did I really completely forget? Okay, so I didn't tell you what I was making tonight. So I'm gonna tell you guys right now. Oh, I think I did actually tell you. I'm losing my mind a little bit here. One of the things I'm making is sliders. And the reason I'm making it is, number one, my kids really like it. But number two, I have leftover Hawaiian bread from a couple of weeks ago in my fridge. I want to be able to repurpose it, because I had used it for falafel, or falafel is the way that I say it, but falafel sliders when we were Lenting, and I still had some left over. So we're gonna make regular ground beef sliders, and then I'm also gonna make kofta. Spoiler alert, the stuff that I usually use for the ground beef sliders are the things that I'm going to be using for the kofta. So sometimes it's easier, like my husband's not a huge fan of sliders. He'll eat them, but if I can make something else, I try to. So this is a great one. This is a big hack that I think more people need to do. If you can find a couple of dishes that share the same type of ingredients, then you can actually cook many different things and use the same ingredients, right? So I'm just gonna get a couple of things. One of them being an onion, because we're making kofta and it has to have onion. Now, I usually have, you guys know, I'm not even gonna say it. What do I usually do with my onion? You never see my onion like this. If you guys are like, you've been here, you know. I'm gonna wait for you guys to tell me in the comments, what do I usually do with this bad boy? I'll let you think about it for a quick sec while I get my little chopper. Pre-chop it. Yep. No frozen ones left. Exactly. There are no frozen ones left. I hate having to do this. Usually I chop it and freeze it for the month. I have not even had the time to do this, so for now, we're going to just use our little baby mini food chopper. I think I know why I haven't chopped anything lately and frozen it, because my old Hamilton Beach food processor that I loved so much stopped working. So I bought this Ninja food processor and I do not like it. I got it from Costco, luckily, so I'm actually gonna take it back. I wanna get the KitchenAid one. I think they're very close to price. I think it's 20 bucks difference. And the Ninja one, like, it has way too many components. It has way too many options. It's like, I want simple. I just want something that has the cup, the blade, the top, I'm done, right? I don't want 100 million things. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna take it back, and it'll make my chopping much easier that way. Oh wait, dishwasher's clean, just hasn't been emptied. All right, let's see what we have here. I'm just trying to find my cutting board. I am going to chop the whole onion, and I'm probably gonna bag half of it. I wonder if I have, wait, hold on. I might have a little bit of onion, because I feel like I just did this. That's cheese. Also, I have to clean this. Maybe that'll be a YouTube video, like an actual YouTube video, because I think I have to clean that. Let me get a baggie. Gotta get another one. People ask this all the time, and I'm gonna answer the question right now because I know it's probably running through your mind too. Do I reuse bags? Yes, I do. I reuse bags when I can. There are times that I cannot. Do you have a favorite kind of onion, or does it depend on what you're making? My favorite onion is this one. To me, it's the sweetest. It's the least expensive, and it tends to hold very well. I don't know if the other onions would hold well. They might. They probably would, because any root vegetable really holds pretty well, I think. But this is my favorite onion. Actually, I gotta take off the rest of the root right there. There we go. And red onion. So red onions I use, or purple onion, Sophia. I use red onion for like the raw dishes. So I'll use it for salads. We'll use it for like side dishes, things like that. I rarely use red onion for cooking unless I don't have any onion left over, and then I'll use red onion. I just don't like the way it looks in a cooked dish because it kind of turns almost like a weird translucent pink, and if it sits for a while and then it starts to discolor and just makes the dish kind of look discolored. It's not that the flavor is bad or anything when it cooks, it's just, it discolors. Okay, I don't know why I only put one glove on. Should have put two. I don't know. My eyes are already watering. This is why I hate chopping onion. My My mini food chopper only takes half an onion at a time. So we're gonna do half at a time. The half an onion is probably going to be used for both the kofta and the sliders. And then the other half I'm going to freeze. So let's go ahead and start. I'm not even showing you what I'm doing. Let me see. I don't know if it'll, I know it's not gonna go down, but here. And again, if you know me, you know I like to pulverize my onion. I get that comment a lot. Oh my God, it's not chopped, it's pureed. I like it pulverized because I don't like the texture. Whew. This one is a sharp one. Okay. This piece just doesn't want to chop, and that's okay. There's always one piece like this, and there's a little bit of a peel too. So let's get the peel. This is initially why I had one glove on, so that I can just like be able to stuff it. So for this one, I want to get a bowl for my kofta. Here's the bowl for the kofta. So I will take just taking out the ground beef. I know you can't see me right now. I'm coming. Here is the ground beef. I'm just gonna put it into this bowl on the side. I don't think I'm making all of that kofta, so I think I'm actually only going to make half. So I'm gonna have the other half we're gonna make into something else tomorrow, and it's gonna be super simple. But for now, I'm gonna take that half that I'm gonna use for something else, and it needs to be browned. And I'm browning the slider beef. So I'm gonna brown them together and put some to the side, okay? So let's get started with that. Let me just let's turn on the stove. I think this might work better so that you can actually see what I'm doing. We're gonna move this to another side over here. Okay. And we're gonna put, not a heavy pot, but something that we can fry the ground beef. I'm gonna use this one. So here's the thing that I learned, a trick that I learned, okay? And I don't know if you've tried this or not. I have tried to dump the meat, dump the onion, let it all cook together. It works out perfectly fine. Lately, I've been putting the meat first, letting it brown, and then I add the onion. That works fine too. I don't know how you do it, but however you do it, just brown your meat and then have it with onions and then the spices, and it'll do its thing. I don't think it matters really. I think the reason why people don't put the onion with the meat is probably because they want the meat to not have a lot of moisture at first. So when you don't have a lot of moisture, it will actually brown up and not boil in its juices. But I haven't found an issue with it, so there you go. I'm gonna let that kind of come to temperature. In the meantime, I can't even do anything until I actually put that in the pot. So I think in the meantime, what I'm gonna do with my clean hand is I'm gonna get the Hawaiian bread and the cheese and stuff. Do I have sliced cheese? I do. Okay, open, close this one. Here's the Hawaiian bread. See, I have like half a roll left. So we're gonna use that. We're gonna use cheese. And we're gonna use mayo. I know, this sounds funny, but I promise you it's really good. And yes, I have it wrapped in plastic because my daughter dropped the jar and I haven't put it in another container yet. All right, let's see if this is hot enough. It's getting there. I want it to go. Do you have a favorite? Okay, we talked about that. Interesting. I don't think they would be that different. I really don't know very much about food at all. Makes cooking videos super fascinating though. Oh, I got you. Yeah, they are a little different. Each one has a different sweetness level, sharpness level, sharp as in spicy. So yeah, depending on what you're cooking, like I wouldn't chop red onion and put it in the freezer. I wouldn't do that because I never use it for anything other than raw recipes. So the rule of thumb is if you'd use it in raw recipes, you probably shouldn't freeze it because when it comes out, it's softer. And you want stuff that's gonna be raw, pretty crispy. And there's a reason for that being a good one to use in raw recipes because it has more of like a sweetness and the spiciness. So yeah, they do have a difference in their flavor. What are you making? We are making 2 different dishes actually and preparing for a third. So we're making kofta, which is a Middle Eastern kind of like a long meatball, and then a mix for something for tomorrow that will probably, I'll come live and we can do it together if I have time. And then also sliders. So I think it's now come up to temperature. So let me take you over there so we can start browning the meat. We'll take half of this, maybe a little. Yeah, I think half of this would be good. That's what I like to hear. Okay, so that's done. And let me take the rest of I do want to wash my hands after this, though. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to wash my hands real quick. They also say that you're not supposed to move it around a lot. You're not supposed to season it. Do what you want. You know what? At the end of the day, it's going to still taste good. You're just kind of like breaking it up a little bit so that it takes more space in the pan. So I'm making extra because not all of this is going to go into the sliders. Half of it, or a little, yeah, about half of it is going to go into a dish tomorrow So I've done half the work today. I'm doing it anyway. So that's what I mean by like, you know, being savvy in the kitchen, taking time, because I have to do the same thing. Why not do it once and not have to worry about it? That's why I batch chop and prep my onions and my garlic and everything else. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it for a minute because I don't want it to boil. And then we're gonna get started on chopping the other part of the onion once I drop this onion in. I'm gonna make the kofta while that's being done. So, yes, it's supposed to be so good. So this is, I'm just making it literally for my husband because my kids and I are gonna be eating sliders. So a little bit of the thing of the ground beef. I'm gonna take some of this chopped onion. Most of it's gonna go into the sliders, but I'm just gonna take a little bit, maybe like a couple heaping tablespoons of this, because there's still a lot of onion left over. And then I'm gonna put in the seasoning. I always use the same seasonings over and over and over. I use salt shakers sometimes. I don't know if you guys do, but sometimes I actually use the salt shaker as my seasoning. So, salt. That's about it. Pepper. My husband actually really likes pepper, so we're gonna put a good amount for him. And garlic powder. I don't have my other little thing yet. I haven't filled it up yet, so we're just gonna use this. Okay. I could make it spicy. I think I'll leave it the way it is. And then I'm gonna get a glove. 2 gloves. It smells really good in here though, I have to say. Before I start mixing this, because I know I'm gonna have to come back to this, let's go ahead and just move this around a little bit. It did kind of release some of its juices. Maybe I overcrowded the pan, but it did also add color to the bottom. So, no, that's not the juices. That's actually the fat. I don't know if you can see that. It's not the best look. So let me see if I can actually move you. There we go. I haven't added any seasoning yet or anything, you guys. It's just, for now, I'm just cooking it through. You can absolutely add the onion right now, but I want to kind of get all this grease out first. See the grease? I want to get that grease out before I add the seasonings and the onion, so that it doesn't just get thrown away with the grease. This is the part that I hate about ground beef. This part of like just smashing it. It's just about done. So I'm going to go in. Actually, before, I think I'm going to use that grease for the onion, so the onion has something to drop in, so I don't have to add more grease. So let me put you down for a sec. Move you back. Hello. I'll take the rest of this onion. I'm gonna take my hand. That way I can get it all out. There we go. Most of it. I'm still gonna chop, so I'm not washing that right now. But I want to show you how much onion I put. I don't put a ton. Doesn't need a ton. But feel free to put as much as you want. This is about 1.5 pounds of ground beef, by the way, you guys. You can also do this ahead of time and then freeze it into meal-sized portions in your freezer so it's ready to bring out, and just like add tomato sauce with some pasta for pasta and meat sauce. You can make sliders, you can make tacos, you can make so many things with it. So this is a really good idea if you're trying to save time in the kitchen and you want a way to prep ahead. You can do this, just date it, and it should last about 6 months in your freezer. Cooked. I don't like these big chunks. Anyway, you're not here for a food lesson. You're just here to hang out with me. I can literally smell it just hearing the sizzle. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, I love the sizzle sound. I'm really hot right now. So let's go ahead and take this off. I was cold earlier, but the heat of the stove. Okay. So this is almost done. The onion has like changed to like a clear color, and it actually kind of soaked up most of the juices. So I'm going to take one paper towel and put it in here to soak up the juices. There really isn't that much, but I also don't want it to be greasy because it kind of greasifies the sandwich a little bit. And even tomorrow's dish, I don't know, I'm just not a big like extra grease kind of person. Okay, so not that much grease. Throw that out. Okay. Now I'm gonna season this. I'm not gonna use the salt shaker this time, I'm gonna use the actual salt. So I'm gonna put some salt. There is a secret ingredient here. I don't know if you're gonna like it. Just giving you a warning. But it is what binds it. And when this is not my recipe, by the way. I got this off of Pinterest. When I first did it, I had to hide that part from my husband because I knew that he would get disgusted. Do you guys know what it is? Have you seen that recipe? I got it off of Pinterest, so I don't know if it showed up on, was it Pinterest or YouTube? I can't remember where I got it now. But I know I've given credit to the person. It was, it's like a group of people. Like, I want to say it's Six Sister stuff, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to turn it off now. The heat's turned off. And I'm going to take the mayo. Okay, hear me out. All it does is bind. You cannot taste the mayo. It just binds it. That's why you turn it off, because you're not cooking the mayo here. Okay? We're going to take a tablespoon. Just a tablespoon. Okay, just that much. on. I'm so glad I did not mix this because I'm supposed to take half of it. So hold on. Let's take half before we mix it all up. I'm so glad I didn't mix this all. Oh my gosh, that would have been bad. That would have defeated the purpose of me making so much. Oh my gosh, it smells so good, you guys. So, so good. Okay, so I took about half the mixture, maybe a tiny bit more than half. Look at that. Do you see how beautiful that is? Now, I might have put too much mayo, but we'll see. Here, let me actually show you in real time so you can see what it looks like. Remember, this is turned off. We're not cooking it. I'm just kind of putting the mayo in there to bind it, okay? And it binds it, it just makes it stick better together, so when we put it in the oven, it like doesn't fall apart. I might actually need more mayo. Wouldn't you? No. Okay. You know what? Less is better. I'm just gonna leave it like that. And then we're gonna start assembling. I still have to chop the other side of the onion. I think I should do that first and let that kind of cool down for just a second. Let me put this away so it doesn't go bad. Right. Let's chop the other onion. Come on, you can fit. Okay. I'm not trying to filter anything. Don't filter, no filter. No filter, thank you. I accidentally pressed something and it wanted to put a filter. We know we are not filter people over here. Some of this down. Sometimes I do this. Kind of helpful. Anyone else do that? Perfect. Okay. Yeah, there's some people, if you don't like mayo, that's totally okay too. You can completely leave it out, which is great. For me, I don't mind the mayo. You really can't taste it. You really, really cannot taste it. It's just for the binder. You don't put enough where it changes the flavor at all. I have to get a cup for this so I can like sit it in something. Because it's going to be hard to scoop with my hand and do it at the same time. This is a hack. You know, my hacks are super easy, right? The reason why I put it in a cup is because it lets me also measure how much of the onion I'm using. And this is a cup's worth of onion. But it also is like my assistant because then I don't have to touch the actual bag. Okay, put that there, take all this down, and then this is a very, very sharp onion. Just press it down. It's a nice good amount too. You could score this with the back of the knife or with your fingertip so that when you freeze it, it's not super pungent. sorry, I wasn't trying to say pungent because it is very pungent. It's not super hard to be able to break it up if you're not going to use the entire onion. Now, before I put this in there, because I have onion all over my hands, I don't want my freezer to smell like onion. So I'm just going to, I'm going to reuse these in just a second for the kofta. I don't like to waste. So I'm gonna do this. All right, and I'm just going to wipe this down because I don't want it to have an onion smell or have like onions on the outside of it. Okay, that's good enough. Put it on top of ice cream. That's how confident I am. It does not change the smell of the things in the freezer. Unless your onion already has a smell. That's different. Mine doesn't have a smell, it's just strong. It's like pungenty, in the way that it's just sharp. Okay, now we can put all this stuff away and get started on the kofta. So I'm gonna mix with one hand and then, oh, before I put my other one on, let's get the air fryer. I know this is dangerous to be holding this by the handle like this, but I have one hand, so we work with what we got. I usually bake kofta, but since I'm making such a small amount, I'm just gonna air fry it. It's pretty much the same. And I have these liners, which are cool. I actually got them off of Shein, and now I found them at the Dollar Tree or the 99-cent store the other day. I think it was a Dollar Tree. And I'm like, oh, great. I got them for $1 from Shein, but they weren't available anywhere else. We're gonna go in here and just mix it with our hands. Very easy peasy. All this onion making my nose like run. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take a little bit. You can make this however you want, okay? You can make this into burgers, so you can flatten it, put it in the air fryer, or grill it. I was actually going to put it in a skillet, but I don't feel like frying it right now. But kofta is usually made in like very long pieces. I'm not gonna do that today because obviously, number one, it's not gonna fit in the air fryer. Number two, it's much easier to handle when it's just one like hand-sized piece like that. So this is probably gonna make 4, which is perfect for my husband. If there's anything left over, which sometimes there are, I can split it in 2, flatten it out, and then I'll make it into a kofta sandwich for him for lunch. So again, repurposing. For this one, I'm going to make pasta next to it for him, like elbow pasta with tomato sauce. Okay. Getting a bunch of calls. So we may have to end this live before everything comes out, but I will try to stay on as long as I can. At least until I assemble the sliders. That's too big of a piece. Dropping ground beef everywhere. Never said I was a clean cook. Kind of a messy cook. Which is why I don't like cooking a lot, because I have to clean after. Okay. I don't like mayo, but that's not weird in my opinion. I thought it was gonna be blood powder or Vegemite or something. No, some people just get freaked out with putting mayo like that, just like on ground beef. Look at how much fat was on that. Do you guys see that? This is why I wear gloves. I will never roll ground beef without gloves because it is very tedious to get it off your hands. Let me take all the ground beef bits that I plastered everywhere. Okay, so here's the kofta. I actually made 5. I don't even know if you can see the last one there. There you go. And I'm gonna put it in. It's gonna be 400 degrees for about 8 minutes. Let's do 6, we'll flip it. And then I'm gonna start boiling the water for the pasta in the meantime. And then we'll start assembling. I'm curious, for the people that just came on, what are you making for dinner tonight? And are you a fan of leftovers? Let me know in the comments. We're gonna do convection bake, 375, and start. Okay, let it do its thing. I'm gonna get a little dish. I'm actually gonna make it, I don't know where I do this. I'm gonna make it in 2 different dishes because I cannot seem to find my medium-sized dish anywhere. I can't remember if I took it to a friend's house with something in it and I forgot to take it. I cannot remember. So we're just gonna deal with what we have. This is actually has already been cut, so it's gonna be kind of hard to do, but we're gonna deal with it. We're gonna figure it out. Lots of crumbs too. Okay. All right. So this is a top. Let's do bottom. I believe this is a bottom. We're gonna play Tetris a little bit. I cut most of them, so it should be fairly easy, because when I was making sliders before, they were separate sliders, so I just cut it and made sliders. Okay, this one takes about 6. Okay, and then this should probably take the rest. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay down the cheese. You can use whatever cheese you want. This is what the cheese that I have in my hand. Having Arby's for dinner. That sounds really good. What do you get from Arby's? I haven't been to Arby's in years. I don't even know where there is an Arby's here. I'm sure there is one. I just don't know where it is. Okay, that took 2 pieces of cheese. So very just whatever. I'm gonna put some of the mixture in here. And I'm gonna put the top on, put some butter on top, and that's all. Okay. I am what you would call a bootleg cook. One of my best friends is a good cook. She makes things amazing. She makes them look amazing. She makes them taste amazing. I'm a very sloppy, kind of like, let me just get it done because it's a weeknight and I'm tired kind of cook. So it's not always aesthetically pleasing, but it works. So here's one, okay, one dish. I'm gonna put the butter in just a minute. And then I'm just gonna take these out for a second so that I can get rid of all these crumbs. I'm just gonna dump it in the sink. You know what would be really cool is if we can get on live and all cook together. And while I'm cooking, you guys are cooking your thing. I think that would be so much fun. It'd be like a co-cooking session instead of a co-working session. Okay, I have to cut some of these. And then we'll put it in the oven. And I'll probably take a picture of it for you guys and put it on, I could probably put it on YouTube, and I'll probably put it on Instagram. Oh, look at that. It made 5 very loose ones. I feel like maybe in that case, this little one, I already put the ground beef, I can't do it now. But that one I kind of squeezed them in. I probably shouldn't, I didn't need to, so it is what it is. Also, I think I'm missing a top. 1, 2, 3, 4, no, I haven't. Told you, bootleg. Completely hot mess. Alright. Put the cheese. This one's gonna have slightly more cheese. Maybe we'll put a little bit more in the other one. Put half like that. This can actually take it, it's fine. And the rest of the meat mixture. I hear you, I hear you. There is a lot of meat on the outskirts of the thing. Again, super sloppy, but deliciously edible. So I think that's what matters at the end of the day. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes the messier the thing is, the more delicious it is. Okay, throw that in there and put these down. This one is definitely a mess, but I could tell you it's gonna be good. So this one's almost like a sloppy Joe thing happening. It is what it is. Okay. Let's check on the kofta while we're here, so I can flip it over if I need to. Okay, definitely needs more time. And I want to kind of drain some of the juices. Don't drain in there. Okay, let's drain. Drain, drain, drain. Okay, I drained as much as I could without things falling. I'm gonna put it in for another couple minutes. And then I'll flip it over because I want it to get brown on both sides. I found a yogurt dinner achieved. Good, okay, we have something. Beef and cheddar. Ooh, that sounds good. What kind of beef and cheddar? Or are you talking about this? Not eating tonight, but leftovers are great. I got a text and I thought you were still talking about mayo. And you said I put it on top of ice cream. Oh, that was so long ago, actually. I think I was talking about the onion. All right, it's getting hot in here. All right, put that there. I need another pot for the pasta sauce. I'm gonna go get the elbow macaroni. And you're coming with me, so let's go. Let's go. This is probably the last piece of it. I don't know that I'm going to be able to actually show you the full thing. I'll probably just take a picture of it for you guys because I'm getting a ton of calls and it looks like I'm needed right now. So I'm going to quickly finish dinner because I have a meeting at 6 today, which means I have to leave in 20 minutes. So I have my pasta. We're going to make elbow pasta. We're going to make a sauce and then finish dinner and leave. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. If you've had dinner already, I hope it was enjoyable. If you haven't had it yet, I hope it's quick and easy and delicious. And I hope to come back on very soon. Can't promise that I'll come back tomorrow, but I hope to come back on very soon and hang out with you guys some more, catch up, chill out, maybe cook a meal or two. And I'll see you guys then. Love you guys so much. Bye.